Hello students. So in today's session we will be learning about parabola. In previous session we completed circles for CBSE board. Today I will be dealing with parabola. To start with, let us first define what parabola is. So a parabola is the locus which moves so that its distance from a fixed point is equal to its distance from a fixed line. So there are two terms that we can see, fixed point and fixed line. So to represent, let me just show you. Consider this is the fixed line that you have and this is a fixed point. Now it's a locus of all the points such that its distance from the focus is equal to the distance from that fixed line. So these two will be equal. Locus of all such points will give you a structure that is called as parabola. So it's very important to first define the point, that is a fixed point, and a fixed straight line. From then on we can get a parabola. Now let's come to the standard equation of the parabola that we have, that is y square is equal to 4ax. Now to represent this picture, let us see y square is equal to 4ax. First of all represents this. That means it is open towards the right hand side and the axis of symmetry is x-axis. So in simple words, if you would like to learn what is axis of symmetry, it's like a line that divides the shape into two equal parts. So it's symmetry. So over here in this particular case, that's x-axis. And the focus is, as we know, is the fixed point, and the directrix, that is our fixed straight line. That is called directrix. Now as you can see, I have joined this with any point on the parabola, considering it to be p x comma y, and then I have joined that point to the focus, that is f. So this line and this line has to be equal in any parabola you take. So every parabola will have a directrix and a focus, and when you join it, we have to keep in mind it should be, if you are joining it like this, it should be perpendicular on this line. That's what it means. So whenever you need to find a distance from a point to the line, it should always be perpendicular. You cannot take it like this, or you cannot take it like this. It has to be dropped perpendicular. So that distance is what I'm talking about. So that should be equal. Now for this particular case, let me give you one more term that we have, that is called as eccentricity. That is actually the ratio of PM is to PF, and in this case that's 1, and that's the reason they are equal. Alright, now over here when you see, the focus is a comma 0. Directrix is an equation. As I told you, it's a fixed straight line. So straight line is going to have an equation, and the equation here is y is equal to minus a. Now over here for CBSE syllabus, they are considering the vertex to be 0 comma 0 for all the problems that they have in the NCERT textbook. Now for that particular case, I know that even this origin is lying on the parabola. That means the distance of this origin from the focus to the line has to be same. Now from here to here, if you consider, this is A, that means this also has to be A, but this point is on the other side of the origin. That means here all the points are negative. It's the negative line. That means this point is going to denote minus A, and overall then this line, since it is horizontal, it is vertical, which is parallel to y-axis, it is represented by y is equal to minus a. Vertex, as you know, is 0 comma 0. So if you want to define vertex, so vertex is a intersection of the axis of symmetry and the parabola, right? And then another term that we have in this vocabulary is latus rectum. which is denoted by L dash. So basically what it is, you're gonna take this line basically from the focus perpendicular upwards. It should go like straight along this line, that is y is equal to a line. Then wherever it is joining that point to wherever it is joining at the bottom, that distance is the distance latus rectum. So basically this denotes a length. And what is that length? That length is this, and which is 4a for this particular case. Now let's move on with the problems. Before moving on to that, let me just demonstrate all the 4 standard equations that we have. So this one denotes y square is equal to 4ax. Here y square is equal to minus 4ax. So you can see when minus comes, this is opening towards the left hand side, and positive means right hand side. And when it comes x square is equal to 4ay, positive upward, negative downward. Now I have seen students getting confused with this and this usually, and the other one of course again same. But how do you remember that this is actually this and not this? That means it's u, it's c, not u. So that's where they get confused. So one way that I have asked my students to remember is, you just see which variable is having the degree 1 for the standard one. Now of course as the degree changes, I can again write that also. I can write this 2x square. This is again, you can say it's a parabola, but when I'm talking about the standard one that we have in CBSE, let's just keep that in mind. So for that particular case, you just see which is having the degree 1, like x or y. So here x is having just the power as 1, not degree as such. The power of x is 1, that means it is going to open right or left. That means along the axis of symmetry is x-axis, that's all. So when you know axis of symmetry, then you are sorted, because you know that this is the axis of symmetry, that means it has to be like this. Because if this is the axis of symmetry, you cannot say, because it's not symmetry now, it's not symmetric, right? So this is one way you can remember. Now if you come here, you can see y is having the power 1. That means the axis of symmetry is this. That means either the equation, either the parabola is like this or like this. And here if you want, you can take a screenshot. So here all the terms that is associated with parabola is given. Coordinates of the vertex, axis of parabola, which is axis of symmetry, then focus coordinates, equation of directrix, length of latus rectum. So you can see it's 4a for all, and the coordinates of the latus rectum. So as you can see, for this particular case, these are to the coordinates, and when you make it pass through the focus, you get this length, and the coordinates is going to be over here a comma 2a, and over here a comma minus 2a. And you can very well get the coordinates of this by just substituting in the equation. I will just briefly go through this once. So if you want, you can just have a look at this one. So you know that this point is going to be the focus, which is, let's say, a comma 0. Then this point is going to be a comma y something. Now this also satisfies the equation. Now the equation of parabola is this. So put y value. So y square is equal to 4a. And what's the x value now? X value is given as a, right? So what value do you get now? You get 4a square. So y square is equal to 4a square. This implies y is equal to plus or minus 2a. But since it is in the positive, it's in the first quadrant, I will take 2a, and for this I will take minus 2a. So you don't have to mug up any of this. Everything can be derived. You just keep in, even this can be, you don't have to mug up. You can interpret the graph also by looking at x and y value and how it's changing. Now let's move on with the problem. So the first problem that we have is, find the equation of the parabola when its focus is given and the directrix equation is given. As I told you, for getting equation of a parabola, only 2 parameters are enough, that is focus and directrix, because that's how we are defining parabola. Now there are 2 methods. So NCERT is following this first method. So what they are doing is they are interpreting in the beginning. So they say the focus is 0 comma minus 3. So let us, the best thing to do while finding equation using the first method is to better plot and get an idea how is it's gonna look like. So over here it's gonna be here 0 comma minus 3. When the focus is here and the directrix is this, and then that means I am quite sure this is going to look like this only. But how are you going to present? You will say the focus is this, so the parabola is again going to look either like this or like this. That means either this or this. That's the only option. Now since the directrix is y is equal to 3, the parabola is going to look like this, because directrix does not pass the parabola. So if I say, let's say this is the parabola, that means the directrix is coming inside the parabola. That's not the case. That means the parabola is opening downwards. So for downwards, this is the equation. Now once I get the equation, I am going to equate it with a value. So you know that whenever this is the equation, we say the focus is, for this case we say the focus is a comma, 0 comma minus a. Okay, so when you compare this with this, you will get a value as 3. So when you substitute it back in this, you will get 4 times 3 is 12. So it's minus 12y. X square is equal to minus 12y is the equation. Now the method 2 is, according to me, a very properly presented method. So what you do is you're going to make use of definition of the parabola. So you take any general point on the parabola. Now you know that, let me just draw it over here. You know that any point on this will be at equal distance with the directrix and the focus. So I am going to find this distance and I will equate both of them. So I am finding the distance of this point, any general point on the parabola, with focus. So this is what I get, distance formula. I think all of you are aware about that. Next is I am going to find the distance of the point with the directrix. Now the directrix is given at like this. So let me just quickly tell you what's the formula. So if you have a point, let's say P, A comma B, and you need to find the distance. So when I talk about distance, it has to be perpendicular. And let's say the equation is, how should we say this? We can say, let's say x1x plus y1 minus c is equal to 0. So I think x1 y1 would confuse you people. Let me just replace it with m and n. So mx plus ny minus c, let's say plus c is equal to 0. Now when you do this, keep in mind to bring all the terms to one side and it should be equal to 0. Now for this, so this distance, if you want to say, let's say PD, the distance is going to be, it's going to be in mod. You substitute a and b in place of x and y in this equation. So you get ma plus nb plus c divided by mod of coefficient of these. So you're going to square these. So it's sum of the square of coefficient of x and y. That is in the equation. Right? Now, so over here, if you look very carefully, this is the equation that I have. Y minus 3 is equal to 0. So when you find the distance, if you want to apply, let me apply over here. So what do you get? So x comma y. So x is going to be 0, because if you want to write this in general form, you may write it like this, 0x plus. So when you put x value at 0, y is as it is, and then you have minus 3 divided by x coefficient is 0 square and y is 1 square. So you get y minus 3 by 1. Right? So that's what you get here. Y minus 3 by 1 is y minus 3. Now, so I am going to equate it now, both of them. Then I need to get rid of under root. So I will square on both the sides and eventually the terms will get cancelled, as you can see. This will go to this side, so it will become minus 12y. So this is what we get. I hope it's clear. Now coming to the next question. So there are two types of question that we can categorize this. First one is to get the equation with the given data. Next is the equation is given. You need to get all the different vocabulary associated with that particular concept. Let's say, so over here we have axis, directrix, latus, rectum, coordinates of the focus. So we are going to find that. Now as you can see, this is the equation, and also since this is the equation, remember I told you the power of whatever is 1, that is the axis of symmetry. So I understand that the axis of symmetry is here x axis. That means the equation is like this. Why the equation is like this is because here a is positive, or else the equation has to be like this, no? Minus 4ax. Since it is the coefficient of x is positive, that means it is opening on the right hand side. So when you compare this 12 with 4a, you will get a as 3. So I can very well say now the focus is this. Focus is this, and over here you can see that 0, 0 is satisfying this equation. That means the vertex is this, it's nothing else. So it's not shifting, like the vertex is not going to be like this. Since it is satisfying the vertex origin, so the vertex is going to be 0, 0. Now the directrix, as I said, now you understand that this is how it looks like, and the focus is 3, 0. It should be at equal distance, I already said. So this point is going to be minus 3. So this is your directrix. So equation of this is x. Okay. So it's not x is equal to minus 3 here. It's y is equal to minus 3. Right? You have to make that correction. It's y is equal to minus 3. Because whenever you have a vertical line, that denotes y. Now length of the latus rectum, you know, that's 4a for all. So once you get a value, you don't have to do much, you just substitute a value. So 4 times 3 is 12. So I hope it's clear to you. So this is for CBSE level NCERT that we have. So 2 types of question. One is forming equation of parabola, and another one is to find, we can say, let's say, components of a given parabola. Alright, so I hope this is clear for you guys. I will see you in the next session. Thank you so much.